All right, everyone. So I just want to welcome you to the first call of our new year in 2024. Even though I feel energetically the new year is at solstice. So I feel like we had a New Year celebration in 2023. And then we get about 2 weeks almost to work on what that's going to look like to really embody. So I feel like I love having two New Years. When I do believe in the Chinese New Year, we were raised that way in my family, even though we have no Chinese roots or any kind of ethnic background in China. Um, my mom uh, taught Chinese food cooking at the local high school in the 80s and maybe even in the 70s. And she was really good at it. And so we would give our neighbors egg rolls. We would make a giant batch because we were a giant family. And we didn't give sweets. Well, we did. We gave almond cookies homemade and the best egg rolls you've ever had. And it was always our tradition to do that at the New Year, and then we'd have a big family celebration at Chinese New Year. So I feel like if we put ourselves in the mindset of new beginnings, sometimes we need a couple months. It's too much pressure on our psyche to try to micromanage all the things we know we have to unravel. And yet we really don't want to take the repetitive thoughts that are not serving us into our new creation, right? So tonight, I feel the best place for our focus is maybe more non traditional because we want to race to creation. But with everything, the stages of development are best kept in our mind, right? And to truly develop a new holographic. So the holographic creation is like truly like a hologram. Like when you see it in fantasy movies, or you see it, maybe you have a little picture with a hologram and it makes it 3D. That is the image from which we create from this 3D plane, which is what is 3D? 3D is the contrast. So it's the physical world reality, and it is not perfect. It's schismed with good versus evil. It has black versus white, love versus fear. And some things aren't just verses because they are um, bad or good, but because they're neutral, like gender, man versus woman, even though there's a lot of um, thoughts on that in our modern times. The truth of our DNA is still the 3D contrast of polarity. And those aspects of yourself, the masculine and the feminine, they need to be united and they need to be integrated. So in this polarity, um, contrast means opposing energies, they repel each other. Um, we don't want to be so divided on the inside. We want to be congruent. We want our energy to flow, right? So think about your thoughts. And I'm going to have Sean watch the chat. But have you reached a place where you're feeding your energy field the thoughts that you want to create? And just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Have you gotten sloppy? Yeah, Nicole says she's getting better at it. Are you being mindful of the responsibility that you have to yourself to not grasp or loop or trauma loop on the things that hold you back, that cause resentment, that create resentment? And this could be toward yourself or another. So much is taught about the law of attraction. And I didn't like the movie The Secret. It really bugged me. In fact, that lady, I think her name was Lisa Nichols. She was my massage client. I worked on her energetically with healing and stuff. And I felt bad because when she came out with the movie, I was like, I didn't like it because it didn't feel responsible. It was so much about thinking for this and then you'll get that. I didn't notice, though, that it really trained our mind to be ethically and morally responsible with our creation. And not because we want to gatekeep that, that's personal, but because our bodies don't feel good in negative energy. So do a scan for yourself right now and just kind of scan your body to see, is my resting place peaceful or is it a little anxious? Do I have just social anxiety of showing up to a call? Or do I just rest in my physiology, feeling a little on guard? And just maybe take a moment if you know where the chat is and just weigh in on that. Yeah. Did you feel that? Sean felt it. I saw it in her face. So I know it sounds crazy, but we can feel you. I don't know. If you've done sessions with me, you know I can feel you because I clear you. But it's just so fantastic that when you place attention on your field, you realize you do know the baseline of what the energy is that you're operating in. So give yourself a yes to this year, that together, we're going to do this together, and I'm going to keep on top of it, that your repetitive thoughts are literally creating your reality. So if you want to bring in love and you want to bring in career and you want to bring in money and you want to bring in experiences and you want to, right? But you're a mess because you're not managing your mind. It's going to feel like the law of attraction isn't working for you. It is working for you. You're just spending more time on an unmanaged heart and mind. So take a moment, if you have a piece of paper in front of you, or if you want to write it in chat. What are you going to commit to, the kinds of adjectives, qualities that you're going to recalibrate for your resting place this year? It might just be 0 point, right? You might say, I don't really want to be anywhere. I want to rest at 0 point. I want to rest at neutrality. I don't necessarily want to be here nor there. I want to be empty. That's what the meditative religions or ancient wisdoms, they don't really want you to come and be like feeling good or feeling bad. They they encourage you to feel emptiness. They encourage you to feel a baseline of nothing. Shauna, good job. Feel a baseline of nothing in your spirit right now. And how you're going to do that is what we do when we're bringing our busy, chatty mind down into our feeling heart. And how we're going to do that is we're going to deepen our breath. So take a moment and really breathe intentionally into your heart space. You can even put your hands over your heart. And yes, I know you might feel fear there. You might feel very far from 0 point, but a lot of people rest in anxiety, and it's not because you're broken. Sometimes it's just your neurotransmitters got jacked, and especially if you're psychic like me, or you're empathetic, or you're sentient. I'm always picking up everybody's feelings. I have to really breathe myself out of anxiety. It's overwhelming to be psychic. And as women, our intuition on some level is always scanning the field for our loved ones, doing that check in. And I want to applaud you for that feeling heart. I just don't want you to always feel responsible for others. You have to have some time where you have your own space, your own connection. And look how little it takes, because I can literally feel your heart releasing pressure. And Sean and I talk a lot about pretty energy. And that literally is a feeling inside of you. It's not a look, although it does become a look, right? It when you do feel your pretty energy, people do take a second look at you. There's a glow. It doesn't matter if you haven't brushed your hair or your teeth. There's something when you're settled in your mind and it rests in your heart. It's a magnetism. And I want you to feel that in your heart right now. And it will also, for right now's purposes, I want you to unconditionally forgive yourself for not being the perfection that you've demanded. You've been such a you've been so hard on yourself. You've been your own whipping boy, It's like this year you got to stop that. Got to stop that this year. I want you to tell yourself that you're not going to be available. Sean's wonderful way of saying things, by the way. I'm not available to self-punish anymore. I'm not available to not give myself credit for how hard I try to be a good person and for how aware I actually am. I'm not available to not be aware of my compassionate self, my feeling heart. This year, I'm really going to recognize who I am. And I want you to rip up any contract that you've made that is self-defeating for being in a place to create a new self. And we could have gotten that from our ancestry. We do a lot of healing of our family tree, of our energy, our lineage, and our energy of the ancestry. We will continue to do that. But I want you to actually imagine Oh, Shauna, that's interesting. Shauna just said she felt so calm until I brought up her ancestry, right? If you have had trouble with your parents or your siblings, or you see that you've inherited some not so positive qualities, that could really cause you some serious anxiety. Mine is, I've been noticing from my father, who's kind of failing fast, but he's a holler. He likes to holler. And the masculine in my family is very harsh, you know? So it can really put a lot of pressure on my spirit, especially caretaking for him a lot. So do you identify where it may not have even been said to you, but you picked up on some family ancestry that has kept you in bondage, and just use your imagination and see yourself with the cords of your family tree. It could be the branches, it could be the roots, but just in your first instinct, are they wrapped around you in a binding way? Yeah. Take a breath with me. I'm holding your hands. Sean's holding energy around the outside of your body. And I'm just holding both of your hands and we're praying over you. Are you willing to release the negative qualities or beliefs, the abuses? Are you willing to tear up that contract that you might have been locked in for lifetimes? It's formulated who you felt that you were or who you felt other people were. Are you ready to end the trauma that you might be looping in from your her story, her story? Oh my goodness, I feel you. Just know we're all holding your hands. Shonda says yes. This is the most powerful thing that we can do tonight, is to release the herstory that has helped you to make agreements, either with those who walk before you, like your mother or your grandmother, your father, your grandfather, or it could be coming up through your children. Your children could be mirroring old reflections of restrictions in your joy, restrictions in your ability to grow and change. So in either direction, I want you to see that you become the tree of life. And I want you to breathe now, instead from your head down to your heart. I want you to breathe up from your feet. And I want you to draw from the rich core of Mother Earth. Like you are like a lotus that goes deep, deep, deep into that mud, right? Let the root of your tree go way deep into the molten fire core of Gaia. And you need that fire right now because you got to burn that shit out, okay? You got to burn that up and out and pull from her resources from the center of the earth. Pull up through an inhale that comes up through your root chakra, which is where you hold a lot of fear. The root chakra is in the base of your spine, kind of near your perineum. And you might feel pressure down there, right? You might feel terror down there. When we really start looking at that area, it holds the consciousness of your greatest fears and your greatest desires. So you've been creating from this place of your greatest fears and your greatest desires. Ask yourself, what's more powerful right now? My fears or my desires? Because whichever is more powerful is where you're creating from. Maybe you feel them at war. Maybe there's a little bit of both, right? But it's still hard to create if there's a war going on down there. In this moment, what do you need to release that is keeping the fear, the insecurity as a dominant emotion? Scan your field. Who do you need to forgive? Who do you need to forgive in order to not let fear be the dominant emotion? If you think it's somebody outside of yourself, approval. If you think it's somebody outside of yourself, make sure you also forgive yourself for holding the belief. Okay? Forgive yourself for not knowing how to fix it. Forgive yourself for looping in your trauma. We judge ourselves a lot for our trauma. We have the audacity to think we're not strong when really we haven't asked ourselves, are we in trauma? You might not be totally aware of how to heal your trauma. Tonight, I'm only asking that you're ready to look at it, to feel it, and to be willing, just willing. Tell your body, I'm willing to do it different. I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to do it different. And I know that might be a process, but you're in the right place because that's what we're going to do here this year, okay? There you go. I want you to start shaking out your branches. Good. Shauna's ready. I mean, ready, 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 right? Ready. Ready with your whole being. You got to be done with the self abuse, okay? You got to be done with the self punishment. You got to be done with not being good enough constantly. You got to be done with blaming everybody else for where you're not at. Oh, they said this to me. Oh, they do this to me. Oh, they believe this about me. I don't care tonight. I don't care. Tonight, I just want you to not do it to yourself. Because anything somebody's doing on the outside of you is first something you believe. It's a personal attack on your own belief system about yourself. So just be ready to be done. I want you to scan your body in the physical. Yeah, stop blaming. Scan your physical body. And I want you to see if you attract pain, if you attract misalignment, if you attract too much padding, if you attract too little padding. What is the state of your body? Are you in it? Are you connected to your body? Truthfully. Do you like her? Do you own her? Do you stand for her? Do you witness her, or do you hide from the mirror? Or do you just look at her every once in a while and say, I got your back? Or do you stop and look at yourself in the eye once in a while? Today's the day that we're going to turn this around. You came here to be human, okay? In most other realms, you exist in an entirely different way, in a spiritual way. But on earth, we have the perception that we have a body, that we have a physical reality, and there's tons of limitations that come with that. But there's also the opposite. And we start forgetting that there's an opposite, that there's a good opposite, because we're just trying to keep all of our fingers in the dike while the dam is breaking. And we're like, oh my gosh, I only have 10 fingers, right? And there's leaks everywhere, and I'm overwhelmed. And no wonder I'm not as happy as I could be. It's not so much today that we want to think about any self blame, but think about it as accountability, okay? That okay, I've had this mess. I've been giving to everybody else. I got stuck in over service. I'm losing my feminine. I'm overly masculine. You're going to find when you're overdoing and over directing and over protecting, you are not in your feminine. That is a masculine vibe. If you're going to be in your divine masculine, it's going to be about direction, your compass being calibrated, your fierceness, your strength. It's not going to be about the mismanagement, the shutdown of your emotions, the shutting off your feminine because you don't feel safe feeling, the shutting off of your body because you don't feel safe in your body. I mean, I have a feeling you're really catching my drift tonight. I really do. I feel really connected to the yes inside of you that you get what I'm saying. And this is really a genius call because so many calls that you're going to jump on are going to be about manifesting. What the heck? You can't manifest if you feel all this stuff. I mean, yeah, you're going to manifest, sure. But what are you going to manifest? Right? How wonderful. How wonderful that we can assess. When you go to the doc and they want to find out what's going on with your body, they do a blood test for your baseline. Tonight is your baseline. Just breathe that out. Tonight is your baseline. And your baseline is going to look like you sold yourself out. Not because you're not fantastic, probably because you're wonderful and you had misplaced compassion. Probably because you're, I don't know, feel like you don't have enough time for you. So we're going to create a timeline, okay? Does everybody know what a timeline is? When you learn about quantum physics, you learn about parallel realities. And this isn't hypothesis. This is theory. This is true. That you have in this now moment many different versions of yourself existing. So there's a timeline where some of the things that you're grieving didn't even happen. Some of the things that you didn't want to make happen never did happen. And some of the things you really wanted to happen did. So when I say timeline, I'm talking about all the possibilities of you. Does everybody capiche? Okay, so tonight we're going to soul surf, and we're going to create a reality, a baseline for the you that you've always wanted to be. Did we do enough investigation and place enough awareness of what is not working for you? Please let us know. Because if we didn't do enough clearing there, and trust me, we're going to have to do this all the time, but just for today, do you have enough awareness on how you've great. Okay, awesome. Wendy says yes. Does everybody else? Oh, good. Shauna says yes. Kathleen and Nicole, can I get a yes? Maybe you guys fell asleep. It does happen. Okay. Nicole's a yes. Kathleen's a yes. Okay, so make that neutral. Can you forgive yourself enough to just accept that you're not perfect? You happen to be human. There is a polarity of contrast going on inside of your body. Can you just give me a thumbs up that you can self-accept, that you are aware of limitations, you know that they've been working against you, but as a baseline, you're ready to accept that you have that and you're ready to build something new. Fantastic. So Shauna says yes. Is everybody else a yes? Great. Okay. And if you're listening to this later, to the recording, I want you to say those yeses to yourself or those no's. Do a baseline check. Okay, so shake it out. Shake everything out really good. Shake, 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 shake your head, shake your arms, shake your legs, shake your body, shake your torso, quiver, breathe. We're going to do an energetic clearing. Let it out. Let it out. And there might be some fear in there, okay? Let it up. It's going to re-express. It's okay. Move it. It's like we're clearing the lines, all right? We're just clearing the lines. You'll notice smack here in your body. Isn't that cool? All right. So what's really fun is that this is really fun. How long has it been since you actually let yourself think about the best version of you? A lot of times we don't let ourselves because we're like, oh, I know I'm not there. I know I'm not there right now. So we just stop. Tonight, I want you to really think about the best version of your feeling self. So do a scan for that. I'm going to say it for you. Shauna said, the last time you made me think about it. It's so funny. True, true. Okay, so your feeling self, what does she need to feel? Is going to be different for everybody. Some of you are going to feel like, I don't procrastinate, right? Some people will think, I speak my truth. You know, I don't cower to what people, I don't avoid conflict, right? I don't tell people what they want to hear. Or some people will be in the compassion world, like, I'm more patient. I'm more self-compassionate and I'm more peaceful. All of you tell yourselves you're in your body. And notice, because it's happening, it's warming up in your body. Notice that you can actually breathe in a little longer and deeper. And you can breathe out longer and stronger. And let's just take a few moments to restore your body with the qualities of harmony, body harmonic, with groundedness, which means you're running, your electrical body is running heaven to earth, earth to heaven, earth to heaven, heaven to earth. See your roots rooted and your branches reaching. Now take the image of centered. Centered happens on the inside of kind of your dantian, which is your belly, and also underneath your rib cage, your solar plexus, where your xiphoid process meets the ribs, you know, right there in the middle. And I want you to see the great central sun swirling a vortex of energy, returning energy. And I want you to just say with me, I call all my power back to myself. I call all my power back to myself. I restore and energize myself with all of my power and acknowledge it. It is so. Use your own words now. I'm pulling my power in. I'm welcoming my power in. I am restored. I am healed and whole. So your energy is coming in as a swirling energy and as a grounding energy. When you're feeling a little off, just have that be one of your self checks. You'll know, do I need to pull energy in because I'm deficient? Or am I too far up in heaven and I've got to pull the energy down into earth? When you're not feeling right, you're either going to be uncentered or you're going to be not grounded. And a lot of times it'll be both. There you go. Now I want you to imagine the relationships that you need to restore that you haven't known how to heal. We're going to use the mantra of Ho'oponopono, which basically means that life is an echo. So anything that in my relationships that I'm not seeing compatibility, that are not copacetic, are basically what I believe in first, right? I'm not getting the connection because I'm either not allowing myself to feel connected to others, or I just don't believe that I'm worthy of it. It doesn't mean that those people aren't doing whatever they're doing to cause the schism. That's just going to be whatever your karma is. But the basis of not getting what you need or feeling that you don't deserve to be supported, to be connected to, are basically unworthiness issues that you're wrestling with. So just in this moment, say, I restore all my relationships, my friendships, my relationships, my careerships. I claim for equanimity, equal exchange to be in my life. It's not about going around and seeing if it's even. It's about exchange. Is it coming in and is it going out, right? Flow. There you go. So we're restoring your relationships. We're restoring our lens from which we see the world and how the world sees us. And just notice like a very fluid, clear, strong sense of self is emerging within you. Well-being is flowing into your body in this moment. Why? Because you had a lot of mess going on. It was a big knotted yarn ball. And we rewound the ball. So there might be a lot of energy cords, but we made them make sense. And notice how your energy body, I'm just going to do some work in the matrix of you. Sean's going to work in the outer field. Okay, Sean? I'm going to work in the inner column. Your central nervous system. Stabilize your nervous system. You're going to feel like, wow, how is that happening so fast? Because energy is powerful. And it's amazing because the energy cords are all established now. So if you listen to this later, you just tune into what we already created. It's right here for you all the time, forever. Every time you listen to this, you'll be able to find this frequency. So let well-being take root in your whole body system. And just restoring the energy of your blood, your circulatory system, which in a lot of cultures, the blood carries your ancestral chi, your energy body, right? So see it as really clean blood, right? Full of life, full of potent energy for you. And I want you to tell your body it's well.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what you got going on. No matter how big or small, you're well. You are well. Can you accept that you're well? Say yes. Say yes to your wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're going to amplify the energy of your lymph system, which takes your nutrients in, takes the nutrients to your cells. It also takes the trash out, the water system. So I'm going to ask any water, holding of water, to be released tonight after the call, that you're just able to let go of any bloat, any stuck stagnation of water that it just drains out of you. That everything is flowing, the blood, the lymph, they're working together to really like supply your organs, your nervous system, your brain, your extremities. Everything is communicating. And notice that you don't have any pain in your body right now. Mm-mm. Allow yourself to be well in this moment. And you can tune into this frequency at any time. Now, I want you to, outside of your body, see somebody that you need healing with, heart to heart. Could be ancient. You could have this trouble your whole life, or it could be someone that you just got mad at, you know, could be the Facebook bully that attacked you. It could be insignificant. It could be the most troublesome discord. But I want you to see them in front of you. And I want you to see your heart energy sending a bridge, the rainbow bridge of heart, forgiveness, acceptance, allowance. The story doesn't matter tonight. The willingness to not participate in whatever that contract is, it's got to be over because it's taking up your vital life force. So allow yourself to receive back from them what you've needed to hear, the truth of their soul, not what their personality gives you, but the truth of their soul. Allow them to acknowledge what needs to be said, what needs to be exchanged. You actually ask this person to be your lesson teacher. How long are you going to let the lesson be something that you're trying to work through? Wouldn't you rather just get on with it? Their soul's pure. Their personality might be something that you really struggle with, but their soul's pure, and you made an agreement with them to learn some of the karma that you've come here to shed. We call it beautiful karma. When you're ready, that karma ripens and gives you experiences that you're strong enough to work through. How long do you want to do that? Why don't you, for tonight, choose to not have so much karma in your life that's taking you away from creativity and projects and manifestations? So let the whole line of people start coming towards your heart one at a time. Just nod at them. You don't have to get into details. Just be willing to forgive them. Be willing for them to forgive you. Let peace reign. It's kind of like if I don't know if you've ever been in a church that serves communion, but they kind of they come and greet the priest or you know, just you see the line where there's like a blessing. So just let the line come upon you and let it bless you. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Wendy. I think it's true, though. You're letting me feel so I can read you psychically. Thank you. Thank you for the affirmation. We need to let these discords go like cord, right? For a reason. You don't even need to clip them. Just just dissolve them as you allow these people to come before you in all of their brokenness, and just say, I don't even maybe like you, but I do like your soul. You don't even have to forgive them. You can even tell Father God, I don't forgive them right now. Just still look at them and be willing to have a healing. You don't want karma. It's heavy. You don't want the karma. Trust me. Just keep them moving through. And then you can think of all the people that maybe are insignificant, but you've been snarky to or crabby at. All the times you just didn't handle things well. All the times you got into petty fights. Literally like that stuff on Facebook where people argue and they don't even know each other. It's so silly. But we have that silliness, like getting frustrated with the person who's taking too long or taking our parking space. People will never meet and our karma is coming up with them. Do you notice that as you let the insignificant brokenness go, so you're going to have a really good year because you're going to have a lot of room to create. And you've been waiting for someone to help you to have a good year for a long time. You've been trying all these New Year's, all the week after New Year's, to wait for that person to just say, well, how do I do this? Like, how am I going to make it work this year? How am I going to live out my New Year's resolutions? What do I have to do different that I'm going to actually change something? I'm actually going to follow through this tonight. I promise you. You attracted today. You attracted this call. You attracted this. You are doing it different this year. I promise you. This is your year of change. You are not going to be the same person. December 31st, I promise you. Yeah. Shauna says she can feel it. It's going to be a great year. It is. We are going to hold you to account. You got to get to the calls. Show up. If you show up, we have the skill set to change you. It's that easy and it feels really good. So say yes now to experiences that are going to come your way to help you to see your life different. I'm going to say that a couple times. Say yes to the experiences that are going to change your life so you can see yourself different. Say yes to the experiences that are going to change your life that you can see yourself different and the world around you different. Yes, that was a big relief. We're going to step into the Taurus. I sent you a text. What does a Taurus look like? It looks like you're in the center of a donut hole and the energy comes up and around and out around that donut. And then it kind of swirls around and then comes back down the bottom of the donut and then comes up the center, overflowing like a fountain of life and energy. And it just comes up like a fountain around you and swirls up and swirls around you and it swirls out and around the donut hole. And it's just a moving field of energy. And if you didn't look at it later and look up Taurus, Taurus. Taurus image. This is your field. And for our purposes right now, we're going to put this field of protection because I want to tell you, you are going to feel a lot of angels this year because we work with a lot of angels. I see angels and they're here. And tonight, it's really strong with Michael the Archangel. And so the Taurus, Michael is so famous for the throat chakra, right? It's where, the speaking of the truth, it's the warrior, it's like You can let that warrior be a sword of truth or a sword of destruction. So choose, Michael. Choose your words wisely, but protect your throat. And if you have anything going on in your throat, then we could claim a healing in your throat right now, healing in your thyroid. And so you've got words that are going to come up before our next call. And Michael's going to help you speak them. Okay. And that's prophecy coming through that's personal to you. And just know that you know what I'm talking about. You know what you're withholding. You know what you need to correct. You know what you haven't said. And if you've been in the business of withholding your words, then you're going to be better at finding the words that need to be said. Either way, you're having a healing of your words tonight. And so your Taurus energy is going to bring you protection, that you're able to stand in your truth, the truth of who you are, the truth of your word, the truth of your self-knowledge, and that you're going to stand for yourself, that you're going to speak words of truth to your body, and you're going to speak words of truth to other people's bodies. That it is it's an absolute commitment to yourself that you're going to be a truth teller this year. So where you've been lying to yourself, where you've been lying to others, no more excuses. You're going to hold yourself 100% accountable to not remake up the story so that other people will accept you, or to withhold the story because you're afraid of confrontation. You're being healed of the power of your voice. And it's so undeniably clear to me that this is a common thread through all of you tonight. And when you feel like you don't have the courage, Michael the Archangel, he is courage incarnate, right? An embodiment of courage. So when you get afraid, just bring in his healing ray upon you in your Taurus and just claim and say, I don't think I can do this alone. Do it for me. I offer up my free will that we can work in partnership, that I'm going to be a truth teller to myself. I'm going to be really honest about what I need to live in truth and fix in truth and create in truth and claim abundance in truth. And so it is. And I want you to feel your body and the charge. You're going to feel the strength through your arms and your legs. A visceral strength is moving through your body, a power of healing, the power of the legions of light, the power of the angels. Call upon Michael, call upon your guardian angel, call upon the legions of light to work and walk and lead you this year in 2024. It is your year of the angels. And so it is. Come back into your body, beauty. Come back into your body, beauty. Bless you and come back into your body and open your eyes, beauty. Oh, so it is. Welcome back.
So it is.
How does everybody feel?
Allie, do you want to do a little vocal share with everybody? We only have about 6 people in the call. Or
Yeah,
yeah, so
that was a really powerful transmission for me. Like, wow, it is just like I feel electrified, not electrocuted, electrified. Does anybody want to share?
you can unmute yourself and share any experiences. Mm.
Shauna
Amazing,
said
Sean.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you feel shy? You don't have to either. You can hold them and let them integrate and stay with it. And Being gratitude, maybe that's better right now that we hold the frequency.
Yes. The prophetic word
Love,
that came
Wendy.
through, um, oh, amazing. The prophetic word that came through Allie, is essentially make all things right with your words, your energy, your finances, your body, your heart, and your manifestations. And when we do that, we create space for the new to come in. But it is making all things right that actually bring you state of 0 point and neutrality. So you have your work cut out for you this couple of weeks. Mm-hmm.
I feel joy
Mm-hmm.
and relief. And I don't know why I feel relieved, but I do. So I'm being healed of something that I'm relieved to let go. And I guess I'll just have to let that express itself in time. But one thing I do feel in all of you before we hang up is notice how much your circulation is flowing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it? I think you, plenty of you have to pee right now. Sorry, I'm very graphic, but I just feel like water's flowing too. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll release you to your waterfalls, and I want you to know, I really love you. I really love you, and thank you for bringing me into your field. That I have to read your field, right? And you're doing the work, and you're showing up, and there were a few people last year that really committed to their work extraordinarily. And some of them, they're not here because they changed their life so much. I think that they got lost in their new changes in a way. Um, and it's just, I wish they were here to tell you what they manifested because you're going to be manifesting the life of your dreams. So just commit either to a new journal, notes in your phone, but I want you to get clear on not just what you want to fix, but what you want to bring in, okay? And what she feels like, this true essence that's you. And I want you to know it's I don't know, I think a lot of us are a little afraid to do this deep, deep work. And I don't know how you found Sean and I, but you definitely signed up for some really high level work and it's going to happen for you this year. So take note because one of the things that's the funniest thing for me is that my pride. Everybody forgets, like, like they don't remember. And I'm so excited at the end of the year. I'm like, oh, well, and they're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, what? And then I'm the one that I find myself doing. You don't remember. I'm so human. I'm so human, but it's so fun. I mean, I'm human and I love to see the miracles. And so sometimes there are people like, oh, I worked with a guy who I helped cure his cancer. I was his person. I went and I lived with him and I decided every treatment for him. Basically, I was his person for those two. And he was like under 100 pounds or really close to it. He wasn't a big guy. And and so that was in June. And by August 14th, all of his cancer was gone. And I remember saying, oh my God, we did it because he was dying. Like I was his last resort. That was our joke, that I was his last resort. And he goes, well, I wasn't that sick. And I was like, you were like 98 pounds when I met you 2 months ago, but okay. Isn't that funny? But I'm so human. Like I just love the contrast. I gotta not be so attached to the 3D and I gotta move on over to the 5D, but I still love the contrast of like, look what you did, look what you healed. Let's let's stay in the celebration, stay in the memory of what you're working hard, swim hard for this wave that you're gonna surf in. and happy 2024.
We will see you guys on the next call. We love you. I will get the recording out and have a beautiful night.
Good night.
Good
Much
night.
love.